Question: what is the best animated film, not just on Netflix, in this spirit? So, a sort of fantasy martial art adventure that you think. What is it? Not necessarily just your top one, maybe your top three. I'd love to know in the comments below. And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for New God's Nezha Reborn. While living as an ordinary delivery man and motor racing fan, Nezha encounters old nemesis and must rediscover his powers to protect his loved ones. It's actually pronounced Naja, I believe, although the English spelling of it is Necha. Another fun fact, or kind of warning ahead of watching this film: if you're watching in English, you should check up the subtitles just so you can see the difference in story. It's quite vast this time round, so if you're watching in English, you'll see when you're reading the subtitles how different, just you can't translate directly, because it actually diverges the path of the story quite a bit. There's meaning and subtleties in the original language that often makes it very difficult to translate into English, and so we have those diverging paths in the language, which I thought was funny. I thought the English dubbing wasn't bad, but the mouths often don't move up, don't match so much. That is kind of my only real niggle to this film, because I actually had a lot of fun. If you look at the animation style, it's very rounded 3D. A lot of animation style animated films are doing this now. You mix in a bag of the Fast and Furious, or one of those Fast and Furious bike movies that we've had a while ago. You take in Mad Max Fury Road, you take in the Terminator, you add that all together, you make it animated, you add some magical powers and magical creatures, and that's the kind of amalgamation of story that we're getting here. The story is complicated and yet really simple. Basically, we have these kind of a few factions of gods that are reincarnating themselves all the time. There's one particular god that is always causing chaos, Nezha, and these gods come together, they trap him, they try and stop him from reincarnating, they make out that they're the good guys. Then we have this particular kid, this time round, realize that he is the reincarnated god, or a version of that. We have someone that's very similar to the Monkey King that is going to do the montage type training that we get in these films. You know, the kid realizes that he has powers, and he needs to know how to control them, because he wants to stop the bad guys, and he needs to protect the people that he loves in his life, his brother, his sister, his father, who he doesn't have a good relationship with. And then we get to the crux of the story, where we get to those action sequences that are very good. The thing that makes this story really interesting for me, and I thought fun, a bit more meaty, is that the city feels very realized, feels very real. It's like rusted. Water is gold, basically. You have gold and water, and those are the two most important things or currencies to survive by. Water's become a thing that's very scarce, and so is as precious as gold. And so we have people that deal in gold, and the city is controlled by people who control the water. That makes sense. We have different mafia factions in one particular city. Our main character is only really living in one city, and he's like this courier, has wicked gung fu bike skills, never mind actual kung fu skills or fighting skills. I liked the choreographed scenes, as in the animated choreographed scenes. You see how they come together. It's very, you're not going to believe anything you're seeing. But if you get stuck up on that, like, well, that wouldn't happen. This is a film where people have superpowers, man, and they're reincarnated deities, and you can basically throw your bikes, over roofs and jump from one thing. The axles don't break. So if you get stuck up on reality, then this is not the film for you. It is, however, a lot of fun, because you do like the characters. I wasn't sure about it at the beginning, that original bike scene, as it starts with like this bike race, and I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this as much. But once we get into kind of the family, where it gives a bit more heart behind the film, I thought I really enjoyed it. There's a moment that is like John Wick, John Wick with the dog. There's a cat moment, and I was like, now I'm behind him. Dagnammit. I always hated when animals get hurt in live action films or animated films. So for me, I get more invested with animals rather than people that just. I love animals. I think that's partly down to my wife, who's like an animal whisperer. Animals love her. Think if you love animated films and you want a bit of martial arts and fantasy element, you're going to enjoy this. It is a bit long in my mind though. There a lot happens. It's about 2 hours long. There's about an hour and a half mark where I really thought it was coming to an end, and I thought, wow, this is still going. You know, it's that time when you pause the movie and you play and you go, okay, you still got another hour or you still got another 45 minutes. It is that sort of film. You can tell the effort, the amount of effort they've put into, years of work to do an animated film that's 2 hours long is impressive in itself, but I'm not sure that it needed to be. There was your basic story structure. You got to come to grips with who you are. You are the super being, and then we have the son of the bad guy who is all powerful and just seems to be quite generic. I do like that they kind of started fleshing his character out a bit, and we start to get some backstory as to why these people are fighting each other. What is the deal with the reincarnation, without going into spoilers. But it's the sequences of the real life city that really kind of gives this story some backbone. It's flowing from one person to another. Necha or Nachi seems to know his city, and so when he goes and introduces himself or speaks to people, there is a very realized world. There's this little girl that is collecting water, and you feel for her. There's someone is hanging up washing. The city just feels alive and tangible, even though it's rustic and rusted and falling apart, and they desperately need water, and there's a poverty kind of feeling to it. You do like what's going on with this film. It's a fun adventure, definitely one, just kind of an escapism that we need now. I'm going to give this a solid B+. Chat to me in the comments below. Again, let me know what is your favorite type of animated film, your top 3 with this sort of fantasy element. Raya and the Last Dragon I thought was a Disney one that's just come out. It's a lot of fun. I have a review for that. You can check it out. Although I'm not sure it's worth the $15.99 that it cost on Disney Extra Plus. When it comes out just on this general platform, I would say definitely check it out. Have you seen Soul? Because that's excellent, and winning all the awards. Although Wolf, I think it's Wolf Children, I think is excellent as well. That came out recently. Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.